Okay, here we are. We are live. Todd Kolb, US Golf TV, VLS Golf. I got my main man, Nick, here's with me. Nick, give him the thumbs up. We have the team here. First of all, welcome to YouTube. Welcome to YouTube Live. Welcome to US Golf TV. We got a really interesting topic planned for you here today. We're going to talk about what we call the Counter Backswing Sequence. And we did a video, Nick and myself and Jordan and Justin, the whole team. We did a video on this not too long ago called Weird But Works. Weird But Works. And some of you might have seen that, and that might be what brought you here today. But if not, you can go back after we're finished up here and watch that. First of all, one of the things we love is we love hearing where you're from. We love interacting with you, and this is something we're going to be doing on a regular basis, these live sessions, because we want to be interacting with you. We want to help you play better golf. So if you can, do me a favor, put it in the chat. Where you logging in from? We've got Jordan's from Minnesota. We got Ed from Arizona. Welcome, Ed. How's the weather in Arizona? My guess is it's probably pretty darn nice. We got Jim from Delaware. So we've got a lot of you logging in from all over. So what we're going to be talking about here this morning, is we're going to be talking about this myth of should you have a slow backswing? Because a lot of us are taught, and I got to be honest, I'll raise my hand on this. I probably taught this at some point, that a slow backswing was really good. And what we're going to talk about today is something counter to that. I'm going to show you how to actually speed up your backswing. Look at this. We got people logging in from all over. New York, we got Boston, we've got Italy, Nick. Hey, Nick, come on. That? Italy gets a thumbs up, doesn't Nick? Get a thumbs up. Come on. All right, we got Italy, we got San Antonio. We love our fans out there. This is a real treat for us. So what I want to share with you here tonight is what I call the counter backswing sequence. And there's 3 different steps to this. Now, before we dive into it, what I want you to take away from this is there's this myth out there that your backswing needs to be low and slow. Okay? Now, there are some great players out there who have a backswing that is slow. So part of the journey that we are all on here is finding what works best for us. And that's one of the core beliefs we have here at VLS Golf and US Golf TV is that our job as people who are on this journey with you is to bring information forward, is to present simple ideas that you can implement, okay? But ultimately, it's your job to kind of figure out which one of these really works for you, okay? Because everybody's built differently. Everybody has different flexibility and different strengths and different coordination. And so part of this is really you finding out what is best for you. It's one of the core concepts of the book, The Bad Lie, the vertical line swing, all the stuff that we've done. All right, so let's get into this. And we're going to save some time here at the end for you to ask some questions. I got Nick behind the keyboard here. He's going to be tracking the questions, and we're going to get into some of those here in just a second. We got the Netherlands also. Ed says it's kind of rainy at 65. Ed, you need to get up here to South Dakota. It's sunny and nice here, my friend. All right, so here we go. So what we're going to be talking about is the backswing. So when we're sitting here, we're talking, obviously, this is the backswing. Everybody knows that, of course. And then this is the forward swing. Now, when we get the club moving, if we want to get some speed, we want the club at its maximum speed through the strike, through the impact zone. So we want that club accelerating. And one of the best ways to get it accelerating, to get more club head speed, in my opinion, in my experience, especially for our experienced golfers, you know who you are out there, is to get the club traveling fast early. Okay, and that's what the whole counter backswing sequence is about. Now, so let's go through it. So here's the first step. Now, you're going to do these. You're not going to be hitting a golf ball, so you can do them at home. You can do them in your garage. Okay, of course, on the driving range, then hit a shot. So here's the first step. What you're going to do is you're going to take your normal setup. Okay, so I got my normal, I got my feet I got my feet shoulder width apart. I've got my 60-40. All right, remember how we like the 60-40 in the vertical line swing? Okay, we like the 60-40 because it helps us create weight shift and pressure shift, right? We're going to talk about that in here in a second. So I take my regular setup, and what I'm going to do is take the club and I'm going to put it in front of me. Okay, now in a second here, I'm going to share with you, if you slice the golf ball, we're going to make a little modification to that. Okay, but here we go. Step number 1 in the 3-step counter backswing sequence with the objective of creating more club head speed by getting the club moving faster earlier. Okay, so here we go. regular stance, club's in front, and all you're going to do is just swing the club back and then all the way through. So let me go ahead and do it down the line. I'm set up. I put the club in front, swing it back and through. Let me go ahead and do one more towards the camera. Here we go. So I'm set up. I put the club in front like this. I just swing it all the way back and through. Now, simple, right? I'm just doing that here in our extra office space, right? So you could do that at the driving range and hit a golf shot. Now, why does that work? Okay, if you have any ideas, go ahead and throw those in there. All right, but why does that work? It works because we're creating momentum. Now, one of the greatest drills that Nick and Jordan and Justin, the whole team that we've done, okay, is what we call the right-left drill, the continuation drill. It is the golden nugget, all right? And the reason it works is because when the club is in continuous motion, when the club is moving, rhythm and tempo and speed naturally increase. So by taking the club and putting it out in front, you gain the momentum of the club swinging. So I'm here. So instead of starting my swing here and trying to go really fast early, by putting it in front, I get the swinging, the momentum of the club moving, and that accelerates my backswing. And when you do that, if you do like a three-setter, you know, we love our three-setters, and then you step up and hit a shot, you're going to find that works pretty well. Now, I'm going to circle back to this again, and we're going to talk about what if you slice the golf ball. I want to make one modification. Nick, don't let me forget to do that. Okay, Nick, all right, he gave me a thumbs up. Don't let me forget to circle back and get that. Now, that's step one. Okay, step number 2 is we're going to do this with our feet together. So let's demonstrate it. Okay, so this would be the next level. We did step 1. Now we're going to step 2. Feet together, club in front, and I'm just going to swing it back. But as I swing it back, I'm going to literally just step. So this is my trail foot. That's my right foot for me. It's clubs in front. I swing it back and step and through. Let me go ahead and do it down the line. Here we go. Feet together, club in front. Now I'm going to step back towards you. Up and through. Let me do one more towards you. Here we go. Feet together, club in front. All right. Now, this is the second step. Now, why does this work? Because we're learning to load the trail foot. One of the easiest ways, one of the things we talk about in the book, The Bad Lie, one of the power sources that allows us to create club head speed is shifting of weight or pressure. Okay, shifting of weight or pressure. That's why, you know this already, if you follow us here, that we like a little bit of weight on the lead foot to start. We like the 60-40 split so that we can move the 60 towards the trail foot. So early in the backswing, I've got maybe 80%, for sake of discussion, weight on my trail foot. Okay, so I'm loading the trail foot. So by putting my feet together, swinging it back and stepping, I'm learning to plant and load. Now, as you do this, I want you to really feel like you're planting that foot. Okay, you're planting that foot. So we're setting here, and as we swing it back, when you step, you're not just, don't be lazy. Don't just, okay. I want you to step and plant. Step and plant and feel that foot pushing down and creating some resistance there and then going forward. All right, that's step number 2. Now look at this, Nick. We got more people from Texas. We got Florida. Okay, I love it. We got Australia. Look at this. How is golf in Australia right now? This is on our bucket list. We got to get to Australia. Someday we got to do something in Australia. That would be fantastic. All right. So if you got some questions, start throwing those in there. All right. Start throwing those in there because we're going to save some time here at the end to do that. All right. So that's step number 2. Everybody with me? Making sense? I mean, it's something you can do. It's not complicated. We're retraining the muscles. We're retraining the body. All right. Here we go. Step number 3, and you probably know where we're going with this. Now we're going to learn to actually load the front foot or the lead foot. So let's do it. Here we go. I'm going to do it face on. So feet together, club in front. I'm going to swing it back. And then as I go forward, I'm just going to step and swing. So here we go. Feet together, club in front, back, step and through. Let me do it down the line. Feet together, club in front, back swing, step, swing. Let me do it from the front view. Here we go. Feet together, club in front, back swing, step forward. So what am I doing here? you know already what we're doing there. We're learning to load the lead foot. All right, so we've worked the cycle. We've created some arm swing. We've created some momentum by getting the arms moving, right? That's what we did in the first step, right? We just had a normal stance and put our hands in front, swung it back. That's creating some arm speed. All right? Then we train the body to load the trail foot by just stepping this way. And then we loaded the lead foot. So here, backswing, and then I step forward. So that's why we call it the 3 steps. Normal, then we load the trail, then we load the feet. Is that making sense? That's something that hopefully you can do. All right. I think it helps your balance. I know it helps your rhythm and your tempo. Okay. And it will definitely help you increase your club head speed, because the myth is that we're told that all golfers, if their swing is too fast or whatever, quick, jerky, all right, that they need to make their backswing slower. Okay. Don't do that. Don't do that. Get the club moving. Get it going so that as you come into impact, it's exciting. All right, hey, let's do a couple questions, and then we're going to circle back to that slice part here in just a second. Nick, what do we got there?
Yeah, so Jordan asked, and this is something you just were touching on, so probably expand on this a little more. Will the counter backswing sequence ruin my tempo?
Okay, so the question here, let me repeat that. And if you got other questions, throw those in there. And if it doesn't even have to do with the golf swing, anything related to golf, we're going to answer that for you because we got some time. That's why we're here. So the question is, will it ruin my tempo? So here's what I want you to think about. Typically, when people have poor tempo or they're quick from the top, they come over the top, okay? Their friends say, oh, Jimmy, you're too quick, or Bill, you're too fast, or Walt, you got to slow your swing down. It's not because their tempo is bad. It's because their backswing is not loading properly. Therefore, they get quick and jerky. So let's think about this for a second. Hey, I'm a pretty simple guy. Let's keep this simple. The purpose of the backswing is what? The purpose of the backswing is to create energy, momentum, loading, whatever word you want to use, so that I can naturally accelerate on the downswing, right? That's the whole purpose. That's why on a putt, you make a little backswing, because you're not looking for a lot of acceleration or speed. That's why when you swing your driver, the swing is much longer, okay, because you want more speed. So the purpose of the backswing in its most simple form is to create enough energy, momentum, coil, whatever word you want to use, so that as you start your forward motion, you have the energy to accelerate into the golf ball and get the golf ball to travel the distance that you want. All right, does that make sense? So, knowing that, typically what I see, especially for experienced golfers, is when they get jerky or quick from the top, it is because their backswing is not fast enough or long enough to build that energy that they need. Therefore, their only other option is to just get jerky from the top. Okay, it's the whole, I'm glad Jordan asked this question, because this is one of the key cornerstones of the vertical line swing system, is turning the hips, changing the knee flex, rotating the shoulders. Why? So that you can have a nice full backswing, so you can have great tempo coming in. So in a nutshell, Jordan, I know I got a little on the soap opera box there, apologize for that, but the purpose of the backswing is to create more energy. The counter backswing sequence is going to allow you to create more energy. And I think what you'll find is that when you do that, your tempo and rhythm will actually improve. Okay. All right. So let's go. We got a couple more questions, and anybody's got a question, fire those things in there. Fire those things in there. All right, Nick, what else we got?
Yeah. So John asked, excuse me, how do you do that first part of the sequence without creating a sway in your backswing?
Okay, so the question is, how do I do the counter backswing sequence without swaying? This is a great question. I love this question because we get this a lot. So let's first of all identify what is a sway. I think we can all agree that we want to move the weight from our lead foot to our trail foot in the backswing. I hope we can agree on that. I mean, there are a few systems out there that teach keeping all the weight on your front foot. I think that's okay for irons. I don't think it's good for longer clubs. I especially don't think it's good for our experienced golfers. So if we know we want the weight to go to the trail foot, the question is where on the foot does that weight go? So a sway is weight that goes to the trail foot. So for me, my right foot, that goes to the outside of the foot. You can see that. See how you can see the white of my shoe. See how it's rolling up? That's a sway because the weight is on the outside of my foot. If I move my weight to my trail foot, but the weight stays on the inside of the foot, that's not a sway. That's a load, a coil, whatever word you want to use. That's a good thing. Okay, so the key is that when you shift the weight, when you move the club towards your trail side, your right side for a right-hand golfer, have some awareness of where the weight is at on the trail foot and make sure it's on the inside of the foot. Now, one thing that can help with that is the change of knee flex, right? So when I'm sitting there, if I keep this trail knee really flexed, okay, now if I have a lot of flexibility, a lot of strength, I mean, I can keep the weight on my inside of the foot, but it really restricts my turn. If I release the trail leg, that allows the hips to turn. And I have found for most of my students, it makes it easier to keep the weight on the inside of the foot. Let me do it down the line. So here we go. When I keep the trail knee flexed, see how it's staying bent? Man, that's putting a lot of pressure on my lower back and my hip. I don't like that. But if I release it, see the change of knee flex there? See how the trail leg released a little bit? Okay, then it's easier to keep it on the inside of the foot. So in a nutshell, keep the weight on the inside of the foot versus the outside of the foot, and that will keep you from swaying in the backswing. All right, let's do another question here, and I'm going to come back to that fixing of the slice there, the one counter swing backswing adjustment. Nick, what else we got there?
Yeah, so beach chest, I have problem creating compression. I literally flick even when I try hard. Why?
All right, so the question that we're asking there, thank you for that question. Thank you for that question. Is Beach saying, hey, I have a hard time compressing the golf ball. Compressing the golf ball. Like I hit the ground or it's thin or whatever. All right, so couple things. If this is you, pay attention if you're struggling with compression of the golf ball. Number one, ball position. Could be as simple as ball position. All right, so we know this, that we want the ball when I'm hitting an iron. I've got a wedge here, one of our new wedges that we're in the process of designing. But I've got a wedge. But for most irons, I want the ball to be basically kind of, see my zipper right here. So this is the middle. Let's just say this is the middle. Somewhere between here and typically where the logo on a golf shirt would be. So middle where the buttons are at to the logo. That's kind of where I want the ball to be positioned. So if the ball is too far forward, that could be your answer. So that's the first thing that I would check. Which is make sure that the ball is not too far forward. I think for most golfers with their irons, it's better to have the ball too far back. This is exaggerated. Nick's looking at me cross-eyed. They're like, what? Come on, Todd. So, but it's better to have the ball too far back than too far forward. So that'd be number one, check ball position. Number two that I would look at is proper movement of weight shift. Okay? The bottom of your swing, or where you hit the ground, or where the club hits the ground, is largely dependent on where the weight is at on your feet. Let me say that again, and I'm going to demonstrate it so you can understand this, and I'm going to give you a drill to do it. Where the weight is at on your feet has a huge impact on where the club hits the ground. So for example, if I make a backswing and I keep all my weight on my back foot, where's the club going to, it's going to hit see how it's going to hit way back here. If I make a backswing and then all my weight's on my front foot, the club's going to hit the ground more forward. All right, so what I would tell you is this, Beach. Make sure that when you finish your swing, your knees are touching and your weight's forward. See this right here? This is where you got to be, right there. Finish the swing, boom. Knees touching, weight forward. As your weight goes forward, the bottom of your swing will go forward and you will be more prone to compressing the golf ball. All right, now let's talk about the slicing, and then we got time for, Nick, we got time for a couple more questions. All right, Nick's giving me a thumbs up. Hey, thank you for keep asking those questions in there. Good. David's got a question. Renee's got a question. Thank you very much for asking those questions. All right. So if you're slicing the golf ball and you're doing the counter backswing sequence, because the myth that we're talking about today is that everybody needs to have a slow, smooth backswing. That's hogwash. For some people, it works. Not saying that. No, I don't think anything in golf is absolute. The more I'm around golf, I don't know what you guys and gals think, but the more I'm around golf, there's a lot of ways to do it. There's a lot of ways to do it. But here's what we got. When you're slicing the golf ball, when you put the club in front, remember step one where we just had our normal stance and the club is in front? What I want you to do is just take the club face and rotate a little bit close. See that? Closed, open, closed. So what I want you to do is in the counter backswing sequence, in step number one, when you get the club forward, I just want you to rotate the toe over so that the club face is closed. And then from there, swing it back and swing it through. Now what will happen is naturally the club will want to return to this position. And if you actually returned it to this position and hit a golf shot, you'd probably hit a pretty mean hook. You'd hit a pretty mean hook. All right. But by just simply putting the club in a position that we want it to be in and then making a backswing and returning it, you would be amazed at your natural body's ability to get that club back in that correct position. So that's what I would do if you're slicing. You can do it with the driver. Let me just do it real quick with the driver. So I got the MaxVert driver here. Okay, put it in front. See there, that would be normal. But let's say I'm a slicer. There we go, slicer. I hit a nice high draw. I don't need the extra help. I'm fine there. Slicing, I'm going there. Boom, swing it back. And swing it through. All right, Nick, what else? Let's get a couple more questions in here. Let's help people play some better golf.
David was asking, how do you stop hitting at the ball?
Okay, David. Okay, so the question is, David asked, how do you quit hitting at the golf ball? All right, this is a good one. I get this question a lot. I find it really interesting. This one, along with like, where on the golf ball do you look? Like people ask that. I've never really thought about that. Okay, so here's what I would say. A couple things. Number one, and then I'll give you the drill that I would do. Number one is that I would change your focus or your attention to what your body is doing. We need to have awareness of the golf ball, obviously. We need to see the golf ball. Of course we do. But the ball is not the objective. The objective is to move your body and the golf club in a fashion that allows you to hit a good quality golf shot. So the first thing that I would say is that our awareness and our focus is misplaced. It should be on your body. So when I'm set in there, and I think this would be the case for most good golfers, is that they're of course see the golf ball. They're of course aware of the golf ball, but their senses and their focus and their energy is internally on what are they doing. They're like, oh, I feel like I'm turning into my hip, or I feel like my arm's going up, or I feel like I'm stretching my shoulder. Whatever, it's going to be different for each person. So my challenge to you, or my suggestion to you, would be when you go to the golf course, focus on the movement of your body, be aware of the golf ball, but change your focus and focus more on your body and what it is that you're doing. Now, if that's difficult, which it will be at first, I would go back to the golden drill we talked about earlier, and that is the right-left drill. Let me go through it real quick, because for some of you, it's kind of new. So the right-left drill is very simple. It's one of the golden ones we came up with years ago. So it's really simple. We just take a normal setup, and what we do is when we swing the club to the right, for a right-handed golfer, we say to ourselves right. And then when we swing it left, we say to ourselves left, and our weight goes left. And then we go from here, we go all the way back to the right, and then we go left, and then we go right, and then we go left. So from beginning to end, it looks something like this. Set up, here we go. It's right, left, right, left, right, left, and then we step up and we hit a golf ball. Now, what will happen is when the club is in continuous motion, your rhythm improves, your tempo improves, and more importantly, back to the original part of this question, is your focus turns more into what your body's doing versus the golf ball. So, all right, hey, Dick, let's get in a couple more questions for our people here. Hey, are we having some fun? Are you enjoying this? I hope you are, because I know for myself personally, I don't want to speak for Nick, but I know for myself, this is the part of the job I enjoy the most, is interacting with you and answering your questions and just sharing what Nick and Jordan and Justin and the whole team, what we've learned about golf, and just sharing it with you. And hopefully you're picking up a couple good nuggets. So if you like it, give us a thumbs up, because I'm pushing the team to do more of these. I think we need to do more of them. And matter of fact, next week, same time, same place. Sounds like the Batman scene. For those of you who are over 50, remember Batman, right? The cartoon, same place, same bat dial. We're going to do the 3 biggest mistakes that amateur golfers make in the backswing. The 3 most common backswing mistakes that amateur golfers make in the backswing. Then we're going to show you, of course, how to fix it. All right, Nick, what else we got? Let's do a couple more.
Yeah, so let me make sure I find it. Renee asked how do we aim a hybrid club?
Okay, so the question is how do we aim a hybrid club? Well, matter of fact, I got a couple hybrids right here. So let me actually grab one of these here. All right, let's see here. That's a brand new one there. Nothing wrong with that. We could use that too. All right, here we go. So the question is, how do I aim a hybrid? And hybrids can be a little bit challenging to aim. First of all, not to give you a sales pitch, but that's why I'll bring it up here close so they can kind of see that. On our MaxVert hybrid, we put this, we call it the fairway finder. See the red line? We put a line on there because to help aiming, because of what you just asked. It's always kind of dumbfounded me. We did the same thing on our driver, okay? Is your putter has a line on it to help with aiming, but no other club does. I've just found that always interesting because a lot of us struggle with aim. So that's why we put it on there. But if you don't have a line on there, no big deal. Here's what you're going to do. Bring the club up at eye level. So I bring it up here in front. So when the club is up here like this, see how it's at eye level? I can see the leading edge much easier. And I want that leading edge to be straight up and down. And then I'm going to go ahead and grip it up here. And then I can go ahead and place it down on the ground. Most of us do something like this, where we got a golf ball, we're set in there, right? And we just kind of put the club down and then we go ahead and set into it. What I would suggest you do is bring it up at eye level, look at the leading edge, make sure it's straight up and down, okay? And then go ahead and place it on the ground. And that would be the easiest way for you to aim your hybrids. All right, Nick, what else we got? Let's do one more. We got time for one more. We're getting a lot of thumbs up. Hey, thanks, Gene, Burnell, Jim. We appreciate you guys and gals out there. Scott, thank you very much. We appreciate you and what we're doing. Let's get one more question in here. Let's help somebody else play some better golf.
Yeah, so Scott, right there. He smashes his irons but struggle with the driver, something we hear a lot.
Smashes the irons. Goes, question is I'm smashing my irons. I hit them great. Okay, but I'm struggling with my driver. I'd be curious to know, is the driver like, you're not hitting it well? Is it too low? Is it slicing? Is it hooking? What is it doing? Okay, if you got that, put that in the chat, and I'll maybe answer that question specifically for you. But in general, okay, I think lots of times people struggle with their driver because they don't understand how to create club head speed. And that's exactly why we wanted to talk about the counter backswing sequence today. Because if you haven't trained your body on how to create club head speed and you do it the wrong way, you can really struggle with your driver. So part of what we've learned today is that the purpose of the backswing is to create enough momentum, energy, coil, torque, whatever word you want to use in the backswing. So in the downswing, we can just keep it moving and keep it going. Okay? And so I would encourage all of you to work with that counter backswing sequence to help train your body and how to create club head speed. All right, looks like Scott just said he's okay, so Scott said he's hitting a low slice. All right, so a low slice. So a couple things I would look at. Number one would be ball position. Okay, ball could be too far back in the stance. Okay, so I'd make sure the ball is positioned forward. So remember, we want the ball. And I'm not gonna tee up a golf ball right now, but you guys and gals can all see the ball there. You want the ball to be towards the inside of your lead arm. So what we do to find that is we put our feet together. See right here, and the ball is basically kind of right in the center of my feet. Okay, and I might not be perfectly square to the camera, but you get the idea. I take a mini step towards the target, and then a big step away from the target. And that positions the ball more forward. So that would be step number one. Make sure that the ball is forward. Number two is make sure that your lead shoulder is a little higher and your trail shoulder is a little bit lower. See that? Okay. And then here's the second part, the third part, excuse me, the setup. That's ball position, that's shoulder. Here's the third part, okay? That's really important. I'm going to give you one swing thought. The third part of the setup is make sure that the lead handle, the lead arm is a little higher than the trail. See that? Versus this way. Right arm, trail arm high, lead arm low. This is bad. This is low slice all day long. This here is a nice high baby draw. We call it the tour draw. All right. Nick's laughing over there. You guys love that, right? Okay. So ball position, lead shoulder a little high, raise the handle, tuck the trail arm. From a swing standpoint, here's what I would do. When you do your counter backswing sequence, okay, put the club in front like that. See? When you put it in front, but let the face rotate a little bit over, that will help train your body where you want. If you actually did this and hit a golf ball, you'd hit a low hook. Okay, so but get the club to turn that way. Now, Nick put in there, we appreciate you coming in. We got this lost chapter. Everybody here, I don't know if you've seen, we wrote the book. Let me get it real quick. We wrote the book. Hopefully you've seen it. It's called The Bad Lie. It's on Amazon. You can find it. It was our way of putting something on paper to help you play better golf. We really believe that traditional coaching is great coaching, but a lot of it is based on what the best players in the world are doing. That doesn't make it wrong, but can Walt or Claire or Jim at 65 years old swing the club like a tour pro? We don't think so. That's why we put The Bad Lie together. However, like any great project, right? There's always something that comes up later, like, oh gosh, dang it, we should have put that in there. So we added another chapter. It's called the Lost Chapter. Nick put it in there. Nick put it in there so you can get. It's free. There's no charge for that. We put that in there for you. So, all right, hey, that's what we got today. Next week we're going to be talking about 3 backswing mistakes. Do us a favor, tell a friend about VLS Golf, US Golf TV, and we look forward to seeing you and everybody else next week.